been around the world. You thought I forgot about you guys? I don't think so. One of the movements we have in class is the cleans today. And there are a couple of conversations that stuck out to me today when I was speaking to some of our members that I just want to bring to mind. One, the clean is an amazing movement. If you haven't had the pleasure of learning the clean, please find somebody who knows what they're talking about and learn it. It is a phenomenal exercise for strength, power, speed, coordination, balance, accuracy. Name it, it's there. Number two is how can we develop the overall picture of the power clean by breaking up into its parts. That's what we do, right? That's learning 101. We take complex information, we break it down into its parts, and then we build it back up. In the same manner, we do that through physicality. We take big concepts. Today's example is the clean. We break it into its parts. It's part deadlift, it's part front squat, it's part jump and land, and then we build those things back up. It's also a great assessment tool. It's where we can assess at what piece of the movement individuals struggle with and work on those parts or get creative as coaches of how we can build that weakness in that moment of the lift. A couple things that I noticed today with the conversations that we had was, one, how do we get athletes to keep the bar closer? The cue, activate your lats, does not work. Through experience, it does not work. Most people don't even know where their lats are. Two, they don't know how to activate them, especially with the bar hanging on their body. So one of the things that I learned years ago that has improved my coaching drastically is don't name body parts, name actions that engage those body parts. I'll say that again. Don't tell athletes to engage certain body parts. Put them into movements that will create the action that will engage the body part and that you want. So for example, engaging your lats is important. It's a light isometric engagement that draws the hand with the placement of the bar in your hand, draws those hands into your thighs and close to the body. You can't say lats in that hang position. It's awkward as it is to do the movement, and even more awkward to try to get someone to try to engage the lat when they do that. So instead, if I'm in the hang position and I'm trying to get the individual to engage their lat, instead of saying engage your lat, why not move them in a direction that will force them to engage their lat? And this is a really simple example. I've seen this example done multiple different ways, but it's getting the athlete, the bar away from the athlete where the lats aren't not engaged, and I tell them to draw the bar towards their thigh. That motion right there, without them thinking of it, has engaged their lats. Now we want to keep their lats engaged as much as possible through the first and second pull. We do that here and lats engage, lats engage, lats engage, lats engage. I know that the individual is engaging their lats because they wouldn't be able to keep the bar that close if they weren't. Vice versa, an athlete is not engaging their lats if they're out here and they're saying that they are. They're not, because the action of lat engagement closes the arm, brings the armpit towards the body. That's what that does. So, first thing I wanted to discuss was, as coaches, try to get athletes to move in movements that will engage the body parts that you know is necessary to complete lifts properly. Do not say fancy terms. I'll give you an example of a really insecure coach, is one that says fancy terms a lot. Because we know simplicity is king. That's how we don't want to get caught up in all the jargon, because it doesn't do anything for beginners. Two, the other thing that we notice is once we get it up, we've come into the pull, we've come into extension, and it's time to get under this thing. What is the necessary action that needs to happen? And for me, I've understood this, that the bar, it is necessary for the bar to get on the shoulders as fast as physically possible, because everything thereafter is absorbing of load. meaning the bar is coming up at immense speed, loads coming down, landing on the shoulders, and if we can't get that bar secure quickly onto the shoulders, ready to absorb load, you're going to miss the lift. You're going to miss the lift. That position that we teach in warm-up is a mini partial front squat. A mini partial front squat. That's this. Can athletes do this? Right here. That's it. Train it with my eyes closed. Get out, get in. It doesn't matter. That I know that this is the feeling I have to get into for a power position. And the only thing I care about as a coach is once they finish that full is how fast can they get the bar onto the shoulders. It will predicate how much load they'll eventually be able to do in the rack position. Because we're not going overhead today, I don't care how far the bar comes off their hands. And actually, the further it comes off the hands, the more aggressive they're going to be able to punch the elbows and shove that bar in the rack position. Let me show you that in a hang power clean. What I want you to recognize is how fast, we call this elbow turnover, how fast my elbows turn over in front of me. Because it's really the only thing that matters, because that turnover will put and place that bar high in the rack position, which is paramount for succeeding on this lift. Again. Now, you can't death grip and have quick turnover. It's an opposing force. You have death gripping and turnover. You can't do them both well. You can do one or the other, but you can't do both. And what we want more than anything is a fast turnover. We death grip all the way into full extension, meaning we grip the bar really tight until you feel the bar not being able to pull anymore, meaning I felt like right in here, I can't pull anymore, now it's time to get under, that bar is elevating and I'm coming down. It's in that moment that we release death grip, we punch elbows and let the bar fly high in rack position. Again, you can't death grip and punch elbows. I'll show that. So you see how awkward it is, but you can't do both. You got to have one or the other, and that's what you see. Most of the times you see really fast turnover, and bar comes almost off the fingers, which is just as bad, or you get really slow turnover and immense death grip. This is slow turnover and tight death grip. Watch this. Never release the bar. Now, here's fast turnover, and bar almost comes off my hands a lot. This with really tight athletes, especially males, tends to happen a lot. Unfortunately, it has a shitty transfer overhead because you have to clean and jerk in. And if you have the whole bar off all your fingers, unless you know how to reabsorb load and get that bar off your shoulders before you jerk it, then you're not going to be able to jerk this thing overhead. So then you have this, right? See that a lot. How do we get from here to overhead if I need to? You can't. There is a skill, a very advanced skill that I only teach advanced athletes, where you can get best of both worlds. It's off fingers and fly, then go. Advanced athletes, right? Athletes at least cleaning 1.5 times body weight. Does that make sense? So we have two things that we noticed today that we were hitting hard. One is keeping the bar close by engaging the lats, not by telling them to engage lats, but telling them to bring the bar, pull the bar into their bodies. And two, quick turnover. How fast can we punch those elbows forward, upright, and high so that bar comes back? How much we give here? Really flexible athletes. Now, really flexible athletes, I think in a perfect world, can do both. They will punch really hard and have a pretty semi-tough grip on the bar. It's not death grip, but we're not playing this crazy game with the fingers off. Meaning, I'll show you a semi-grip in the rack and a fast turnover. That's pretty solid. That's going to give me this later. It's not this, right? I can't jerk from there. Unfortunately, a lot of guys can't do that. They're so tight. Women, on the other hand, are just too passive. We want to get them to be more aggressive and add more speed to the bar so they can get more weight. So there's always, different challenges in a group class. Hope that helps, guys. Peace out. Much love. See you guys later.